ladies and gentlemen, it was just brought to my attention that maybe there should be opportunity for purchases of mulligan after the game, because some people are feeling guilty about how many they asked for and bought versus what was paid for and used and so on and so forth. If that happens to be the case, you can see the young lady over here, and she'll gladly sell you the after mulligans.
Double price.
And there is no sale. Okay, as everybody is pretty much back in the room here after the smoke break. I'd like to start off by thanking everyone that has joined us today. I'm sure there was a lot of questions if we should go out to the Can-Alum tournament or not, because over the last 20 years we've become very accurate with predicting the weather. On the third Friday of June, it's either showers moving into rain or rain moving into showers. It's just, that's the way it is on the third Friday of June at the Can-Alum tournament. However, my speech goes all to hell today because it didn't happen. So, as it turns out, probably a very good thing. Again, at any rate, I'd certainly like to thank everybody for joining us, and also to talk a little bit about the history of this tournament. There's only two people to blame for this thing over 20 years, and those two people happen to be Dennis Sewell and Kathy Sewell. Many years ago, we were talked about it and says, well, we should do something, and we go out. There was 4 or 5 of us golfing a year, and it was a good thing. Finally, Dennis and Kathy says, well, maybe we should just have a Can-Alum tournament. So we'll blame them for all of this. Thanks very much, Kathy and Dennis. After 20 years, this is our 20th anniversary. With certainly other people to thank very much, and that's a lot of our supplier partners, people that have participated, always stepping forward with prizes, presents, gifts, whatever we want to call them, donations. Again, that was just super. You don't get this kind of participation just by yourself, so thanks again everybody that has joined us. We have a lot of those people here tonight. Big thanks for that. Over 20 years. Over the time period, 20 years dates back to, believe it or not, 1991. My notes prior to looking at trophies here, I had a whole story planned for around 1991, but that was before we could afford the trophies. So in 1992, I think is or 93 is our most current trophy name on the plate here. Incidentally, the trophies were made by Margaret Heddle, which is a great employee of ours we've had for many years. Due to the shortage of our time and probably our own fault, we never invited her tonight to be with us, unfortunately, after 20 years. But I think she would have joined us fairly happily. But she was the one that designed and made these original trophies. Some people just look at them as trophies. One year I can recall having to make some very anxious phone calls about saying, where's our longest drive trophy? We need to find it. We phoned a gentleman that had won the trophy, he still had it, and returned it. So they did disappear for a whole year and came back home to the table so we could present it the following year. Very honest person, no harm at all, but was a banker. So take it from what that means. We're not pointing fingers anyhow. Is there any bankers here tonight? It was fun. We really harassed them and had a good time with that. Back in the day, I guess we can talk about some of the long drives. I see some Barry Barsteth's longest drive here in 1993-94. 2001, we have a Wally Cobb's. Dave Taylor's name. Is he here tonight? Look at that. 1991, he was the winning trophy. Wow. Team. Dennis Sewell.
Younger days.
Also on that trophy. Moving along, 2004 down steer, and so on. So anybody wanting to spend time to look at this, it's kind of interesting after this many years. Same faces, they haven't changed one bit, everything is good. Over the last few years, we've had the 50-50 draws at the front when we started off, and as well the mulligans. Those draws and the funds raised from there went to Make-A-Wish Foundations. It was the charity that was donated. And we probably, from what we could calculate, there was a donation of about $2,500 that's gone to them already over the years. So again, thanks very much for everybody participating in that. This year we've moved along and decided, okay, it was a great run, and time to maybe look at a different foundation. If anybody wasn't aware of it, we've changed our donation program. It was going to go to Little Warriors, and anybody needing more information on that, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. It's a new program, which I think is very worthy. We have some information on that program available. We'll talk about it a little later, and what that program is all about. Over the last few months, we've been able to, another good piece of news here, we've been able to partner up with some new, or an existing company. The company is called Alberta Siding Projects, and we're happy to have some people and the owners from Alberta Siding Projects join us this evening as they're part of our group now. So we have Dave Fair, Joan Fair, Dave Martin. Thanks very much for joining us. Certainly like to thank everybody again, a lot of thanks here, but contractors and staff, I guess, that have been with us for a number of years. With that, I had a program laid out on how we should deal with this, but there's not quite as many contractors of ours that we had that would work, but I think we can still start off with anybody that is staff or contracting from Can-Alum. We'll start off with please standing up, and then we can advise, people can see how many staff we have here and how long they've been here. So if anybody is our Can-Alum staff or working with Can-Alum, please stand up.
Have to stand up.
You're not supposed to be sitting yet. You can only sit down if you have only been working with us for the last, we'll start at 5 years.
What if we've been off and on for the last 15?
You just need to stand up. I know in the contractor side of it, we probably have a group of 30 or better that should be joining us that just are not here today, that's all. So 5 years or less, everybody's still standing, great. And we move right up to 10 years or less. Nice. How about 15 years or less? 20 years or less?
You can do it now.
Just check with Les if you're not sure. So thanks very much. This has been a great thing. We have people that have been with us this long, working with us, working together. I think it's awesome. Thanks again to all of us. I even think some people sat down before I got to the big number, which is 30 years or over, and Dennis is still sitting, so I know he's been with us many years, and thanks again for that. Last but not least, I think I'd certainly like to extend a great big thank you to Jerry, Colin, Mike, Al, and Donna from the golf course for putting this whole plan together. It had very little to do with me really, and they've been working diligently amongst doing their full-time job, which has been very hectic the last few months due to acquisitions and this and that and the other thing. But however, still pulled it off. Thanks again, guys. Super. as well, in the past years, I might have forgotten and neglected to thank Marcus and Michelle for looking after the starting table, like 50-50 sales and and again, I guess, last but not least, thanks to everyone for joining us. I'll turn this over to Jerry and Mike to finish up the program.